What's going on, you guys? How you guys doing, man? Dogg, Anti-Imperial, the Chill. That's my artist name. One name, three personalities. Dogg, Anti-Imperial, the Chill. Dogg is kind of like a gangster. He's a little bit thuggish. You guys know Dogg. He's a nerd. He's a dork. Anti-Imperial is all about upliftment, international political science, micro and macroeconomics, philosophy, psychology, sociology, physiology, and things like that. And the Chill is a hopeless romantic, all about falling in love, raising a family, and things like that. We're going to have ShadeeeSlim come in and join us. Y'all know we love ShadeeeSlim around here. We're going to have ShadeeeSlim come in and join us. You know what I'm saying? We do another In My Mind. Where's ShadeeeSlim at? ShadeeeSlim. Where's ShadeeeSlim? We're going to have ShadeeeSlim come in. So it's good to see you guys. We're going to talk about something a little serious. But we're going to see what takes we have on that. All right, let's see if we can bring ShadeeeSlim. Where's ShadeeeSlim? We gotta. Where's she at? Where's ShadeeeSlim at? Here she comes. All right, Afink. What's going on, Afink? How you doing? We see you, Afink. Where's ShadeeeSlim? Afink, the one and only. It's all good. Shade, there she go. What's going on, ShadeeeSlim? How you doing? You look kind of grainy. You look kind of grainy from our side. How you? Everything good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, everything's good.
All right.
Good. I don't know. It's probably my lamp. You know, I don't have those LED lights like you got me. You know.
Oh no, you good. You good. I'm good, Afink. I'm good. We'll see how it comes out. You look kind of pixelated. Shady.
Yeah, no, when we were connected, it took a little while for you and I to connect. So I don't know. It should be okay. Hopefully it shouldn't be a problem.
I only look a little bit pixelated. Do this. Go out and come back in. Let's see if we can get a better one.
Okay.
We gotta have ShadeeeSlim looking clean. Who is that? Awadaka, how you doing? It's all good. Good to see you. Carter Swag. So we're gonna wait till ShadeeeSlim comes back in. She came in, she was a little bit pixelated. I think you saw that, right? She was a little bit pixelated, so we're gonna have her go out and come back in so we can get a cleaner image of ShadeeeSlim. So it's all good. But I see you, Awadaka, Carter Swag, the one and only. It's all good. So we're going to talk about rap music and kind of like how it's portrayed in the media and things like that. And we're going to discuss that really quickly. But it won't be that long, you guys. So ShadeeeSlim coming back in. Let's see how.
Is it better?
It's a little bit better. We'll see. Maybe it won't come out like, because I think you know why I'm kind of paranoid, ShadeeeSlim. Because remember the other time when we did Muddy Clean, We See You. Remember the other time when we did the two. So we did the first one was like a Trump Biden. Oh, okay, you look a lot better now. All right, look a lot better. The first one, the one about Trump, the one about Trump, Biden, Obama, Clinton, where we went through like the voting and stuff like that, all that type of stuff. And then the second one we did the week in review. Well, the first one, for some reason, I couldn't upload it to YouTube or Patreon or nothing like that because it's like the video is like halfway through got like distorted. I don't know what happened.
Oh.
It got like distorted or something for some reason. So
I don't know. Are you sure it's better now? Can you?
It is better now. It is better now. Before we couldn't even make you out. You were like pixelated.
I know. I saw it because when I jumped off and then it's like a 10-second delay or whatever.
Okay.
I saw it.
Okay. Now you look much better, sis. You look like your beautiful self we're used to seeing. It's all good. But I told you what we're going to. You know what I'm gonna do next time we do this? Because I don't have it with me right now. I think where did I leave it? It might be at this. I'm not sure it's at. But that's how much I'll be keeping up with stuff. Might be in the car, but I think we're gonna have to do this on my iPhone just because of the compatibility aspect or whatever. I think that's part of the problem or whatever. Mm-hmm. Even though I love doing it on the Galaxy a lot better, but still might have to just do it on the iPhone. But so everybody, you guys, we saw the topics of rap music. So recently, so we won't get credit where credit is due. It came from a TED Talk, but you sent it to me, ShadeeeSlim, from Ricky Smiley's account. It was a Ricky Smiley,
Right.
the Ricky Smiley account
Yeah.
that I believe you follow on Instagram. You sent it to me. So on that, the guy was talking about rap music and how rap music is portrayed on like on the radio and things like that, and how come we only hear black music, you know, on the radio talking about killing and stuff like that, but not like other types of music. So I have it queued up as a matter of fact. So we're just gonna go ahead and play
Okay.
some,
Okay.
and then
Good.
we'll go from there. So I have a lot of stuff queued up. So you know I'm a nerd, so I'm always trying to be organized.
Yeah.
It's all good. All right, here we go.
How come when you turn on the radio in Jacksonville,
Can we hear that?
or New Orleans, or Chicago, or Little Rock, the
I hear
only people on the radio that talk about how great it is to kill each other are black? How come that exists? 15 stations on a dial, go up, go down. The only people on the radio bragging about getting automatic weapons, gunning each other down, are black. This right here is a song. My pastoral vocabulary won't let me read the title, but I will read this. Catch a young black male not paying attention at the red light with your AK-47. Let me see you shoot it. You're a killer, you're a killer, you're a killer. You're a killer, black male. Let me see you prove it. Why does this exist? I'll take it even further, because a lot of time racism exists in what we don't know, what we don't see. Where are the white killers on the radio? Where are the white AK-47 shooters? Where are the white drug dealers? Where are the white people on the radio that brag about what it's like to murder witnesses before trial? The truth is they don't exist. And the question is why? Why don't they exist? Do white people not kill people? Do white people not use AK-47s to shoot each other? I mean, we know, do white people not do drugs? Do they not deal drugs? Of course they do. But why is it that it doesn't make it to our mainstream radio? Why is it that we don't hear it hundreds of times a day in hundreds of cities across the nation, thousands of plays that say the idea that a black guy would kill another black guy is something to be celebrated, something to be romanticized? And why is it that white people don't do it? And maybe it's because there's no white audience for it. Or maybe it's because it's not really marketable. Maybe because can't get sponsors. I don't know why it is. Or maybe it's because it's just not the white man's role. Or maybe when white people get up and talk about being drug dealers and AK-47 killers, maybe it's even sicker than that. Maybe when white people do it, they're accused of acting black. But if you want to know how comfortable we are with black murder, you just got to look at the marketplace. When you see this photo 1 week after Dr. King won the...
All right, so that's the first part. So he's talking about, you know, black music and black rap music, basically. And how it talks about fathers and things like that. And, you know, black people aren't the only people in the United States that kill, right? Like, everybody kills. You know, all genres, you know, of people murder, all cultures of people murder. You have murder in Hispanic, and, you know, in culture. You have murder in the white, you know, white people murder, Hispanic people murder, black people murder. Everybody murders, you know, everybody commits violent acts. Everybody gets in fights and things like that. So why do you only hear that in black music on the radio? Was his question. So what's going on, Lawson? We see you. So I think, I don't know if you want to start off, ShadeeeSlim. I have, you know, a couple ideas on that, but you can go ahead and start off.
Well, I sent it to you because it was very interesting to me, especially about the part where it's really marketable. Like, whites are okay with blacks saying, okay, kill each other, sell drugs to each other, do all this to each other, but they're not comfortable when white people are saying it to each other. So that's what really sparked my interest, because then I started thinking about, oh, okay, so then how did we as black people just fall into it? Because we make money. Like, if they watch that snippet, it will go on to tell you that rap is like the biggest music selling genre of music throughout the whole United States. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just black people buying the music. Everybody is buying it. So they're comfortable with it as long as it's not them. As long as it's not, you know, white people talking about killing each other. And then I started thinking, okay, so remember back in the 80s, 90s when we were little, it was like this big thing about headbanger music, like, you know, the rock stars and things like that. And white people were like kind of upset about that. So then I started thinking, well, why were they upset about, you know, that type of music? Because was it portraying white people in like a negative way, and they
That's a
didn't
good
like
point.
that. They didn't like the, people, guys out there with painted nails and long hair and just, rocking out, stoned, as they said, on drugs. They don't like to see themselves like that, but they don't mind if we portray ourselves like that. They were like, okay, yeah, they can do it. They can damage themselves, but we the white people, we can't. We're not gonna damage ourselves in front of everybody. So it was just very interesting to me. That's why I sent it to you, because I was like, and I think you kind of hit upon it with the King Von, rest in peace, that recently that he died, and he was a rapper, and in his music, that's what they talked about. Like, when I catch you, this is what's gonna happen. And unfortunately, when he got in that altercation, he ended up dead. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of rappers that are finding themselves in those situations. And then when another thing, it's just so much stuff came out of my head. Like when I saw it, and then like when they have this versus battle, like on Instagram, that's big now. So, but the only people that are doing the versus battles are like black artists. Like we don't see Barbara Streisand, and she'll sing. I think I might be saying it wrong, but we don't see like a versus battle between white people like they do black artists. Like it was Brandy and Monica. The reason why it was Jeezy and
Gucci Man.
Gucci Man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then T.I. calling out 50 Cent like he won a versus battle. So I'm like, okay, is that what they want? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think that first of all, I like all the points you've made. I think that, there's and it's funny because whenever we talk, we always look at all aspects of every situation. So we're used to and Muddy Clean, I saw you, Muddy Clean. I saw what you said, and I agree with you actually. So because Muddy Clean said first and foremost, it's a business, and businesses promote what people buy. Basically, is what Muddy Clean said, which is true. So when you think about things like the verses, so let's think about like the verses first. When you think about things like the verses, I think the main reason why we don't see the Alex Sluggers, we see you, Alex Sluggers. I think, and we also saw Spike 420 and Kurt 1611. But I think one of the main reason why we don't see that is because Versus is, I think it was put together by Swiss Beats and Timberland.
Mm.
So they run the Versus. They created it during the pandemic and they run it. And I just don't think Swiss Beats and Timberland reached out to Barbara Streisand, right? I don't think Swiss Beats and Timberland reached out to Taylor Swift
Or
or
like
Katy
Celine
Perry.
Dion or
So,
Ariana Grande.
Ariana
Like,
Grande. So I think in that respect, that's something. And I'm going to get more into this. That's something that we kind of do to ourselves, because you just like you don't see. I'm trying to think. You don't see Madonna putting together a versus for white people. So black people, so we're always putting ourselves against each other, but that's us putting ourselves against each other. You know what I mean? Like that versus didn't come from like, Arista Records or Warner Brothers.
yeah.
It came from Swiss Beats and Timberland.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is like, I like how it started off in the pandemic, just basically as an outlet for people, because we were stuck in the house. We can't go anywhere. We can't go to concerts. You can't do anything. So they said, okay, let's entertain the people. Let's give them some music. Let's give them our hit that we have. But then this last one with Jeezy and Gucci Mane, I was like, wait a second, like this is real beef. Like they both really got a problem. Like, what's gonna happen?
No, absolutely. I think that I agree with you. I just think that I don't think white people were behind that though. I think it was us that Swiss Beats and Timberland put it together. So I think it was us that do that. But and likewise, the same aspect. And Buddy Clean says, unfortunately, kids nowadays role models are prisoners, gangsters, not doctors or people who are productive, which is very true. And there's even more to that, Buddy Clean, that I can get into. But I think also on a bigger scale of kind of like the verses or whatever, and Buddy Clean, I'm gonna come back to that idea, Buddy Clean, but on a bigger scale with like the verses is that it's kind of like the same thing with just like the industry as a whole, the rap industry as a whole, because you always have rappers beefing with each other and fighting each other and shooting each other and things like that. But you never you never saw like you never saw like, I don't know, like think of any like country music artist or rock and roll artist, or I mean even when they tried to create a beef between like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera back in the day, you didn't see Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears be like, oh, when I see that B, I'm gonna beat her ass. Like,
it's on site. It's on site, Britney, when I see it.
Yeah, exactly. So there has to be something with like, why is it that only our music we want to fight each other? Like with no other music they be like throwing down, even though they're all competing for like, you know, every country music artist is competing to be the best country music artist ever, to win all the country music awards and stuff like that. But they don't beef with each other. Like we're the only ones that beef with each other.
Yeah.
Like I'm better than you, I hate you, basically.
Yeah, but the thing is like with the beef, it don't just stay in the music. Like it's like a real like in life like when I see you, like you know what I'm saying? And I just don't.
And so that builds so that's part of the question. Why only us in our genre do we have beef? Or do the musicians have beef with each other? I don't know. Because you'll get because this is the thing, right? So there's two different types of beef. You'll have beef from like the neighborhood and things like that. You know what I mean? But then you have beef from like just like other artists that you've never met, like that you've never ever met. It's just like, oh, that guy, that other rapper is successful. I'm gonna make a rap song dissing him, like just because that other rapper is successful. You know what I'm saying? So
I guess because then they want to get their name mentioned and be like, okay, because then if a real successful rapper that got millions of followers mention you, everybody gonna start looking you up, be like, well, who is ShadeeeSlim? Like, you know what I'm saying? And
but
then
how come if I was in a rock band and like we just don't start beefing with Guns N' Roses because they're on top? Like we just do our thing. Like Guns N' Roses do their thing. We'll be over here. We'll do our thing. But only in rap, it's like you got to start beefing with the person.
Yeah, and I don't get it.
So that's something, I think it's something in the Black community we have to kind of look at and just kind of figure out why it is, we do the things that we do. I think that, and with the point that Muddy Clean brought up, and I see your other point more, Muddy Clean, about the angle with the producers. But I think Muddy Clean's second point that he brought up about the kids these days, we look up to prisoners and gangsters and stuff like that instead of doctors and lawyers. I think it's true in like even a wider scale these days, because I've been writing the Diversity Outspoken recently. I'm always talking to ShadeeeSlim like recently, I'm in the middle of writing Diversity Outspoken, but I've been writing Diversity Outspoken recently about like even like women, and even women in more of like the hip hop culture. And it doesn't mean only Black. That means like Black, Hispanic, even white girls who are part of that like, whole kind of Kim Kardashian-ish baddie culture. Because the white girls and other girls that are not part of that culture, like let's say the white girls who listen to country music, they're not like this. What I'm about to explain, they're still, what I would personally say are on the right side of things. You know what I'm saying? But it just seems that with this hip hop culture, even females, not even talking about rappers, but even females, like if there's a guy and he's either in the club or he's driving down the street or walks to a bar or something like that, and if this guy is like a rapper or or an athlete or something like that, man, the girls like they want him. But if a guy is like dressed in a nice suit, like it's a nicely tailored suit, and this guy's like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, this guy's boring to them. They don't intrigue women these days like the rappers do. You know what I'm saying? Like the bad boys do, the gangsters do, like, you know what I mean? And you see that portrayed and even like many different movies and stuff, when like the gangster walks in, whether it's like New Jack City or whatever it is. Yeah, no, Money Clean's absolutely right. It's not a race thing, it's a cultural thing. Like when you see the gangsters walk in, they intrigue the people, like the women. They intrigue the women. Where if you see like, you know, the boring doctor walk in, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, like you put it this way, the doctor only gets respect and intriguement like after he has to first have a conversation with the woman. And then it's like her mom and her friends have to be like, girl, he's a doctor. You better holler at that. But when the rapper walks in, like on New Jack City, when like Wesley Snipes walked in the club, or you know, then something like that, you know what I mean? Like they're like, oh damn, like
like he coming, it's his presence.
Like, who's that? Like, oh shit, like so. That's just in the hip hop culture. Period. Even females don't respect like education over like the bad boy. Females don't respect like, you know, stability and stuff like that over like the excitement of the bad boy. And that's something that extends beyond rapping in a sense like that. It just extends beyond into like other things.
But you know, but what I'm thinking as you're talking, I'm like, even our entertainment has changed. So when we were growing up, we were able to look into these rappers and artists' life the way people are now.
That's very true.
So we see their mansions, we see their nice cars, we can see, you know, their day-to-day life if they put it out there like that. So before we had like scripted television shows, so they told us pretty much what they wanted us to know. So if you watched, you know, the black shows or whatever growing up, entertainment shows, you saw what they wanted. It was script, like word for word. But now with reality TV, you don't know what's going to come out their mouth. You don't know what they're going to do. We don't know what they're going to say. So, and we are in their lives more of their privacy than we've ever been before, like ever.
And since we have access to like social media and stuff, we saw you, Money Clean, you were actually correct. Money Clean said kids are totally persuaded with those moments. But also with that, us being able to look into their lives, we also have access to all type of information like never before. Whereas the doctor or the lawyer, you don't know their name.
Right.
But the rapper or the athlete, you know their name. So even before you go to the club or whatever, you can Google them and be like, oh, girl, he just got a $100 million contract.
Yeah, you better get him.
When I see him, it's going down. Oh, or even like, you can do it in real time. You know, we all have these smartphones that work in real time. So when the rapper or the athlete walks into the club, you can be like, who's that? Girl, that's Mark Jones. Mark Jones. Oh shit, girl, Mark Jones, he's worth $500 million. Let me get my lipstick on real quick. Let me go to the bathroom, make sure I look good. You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why you can get that information in real time. Whereas when you're talking about on you know, a doctor or a lawyer or a mayor or, you know, a county commissioner or something like that, you don't know them like that. You don't know their names like that. So you can't look up like their worth or, you know, their education or things like that. So that's the reason why it's like that. I think before we get out of here, though, like I put on here rap music part 1 because we go on so many tangents and I didn't want it to be so long. So we're gonna have to come back and do a part 2 another day. But because there's more to that TED Talk that I want to get to.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's more to that TED Talk that I want to get to. So we're going to definitely have to do a part 2 one day. But before we get to that, I want to say, though, being of what we heard from the first part of that TED Talk with the music on the radio and, you know, the black music on the radio, the rap music on the radio, talking about killing and things like that, I just want to say, you know, it's horrible in a way that music companies will push that. But 2 things to that point, though. The first thing to that point is that if black artists didn't make it, if black artists didn't make that music, then it wouldn't be there for them to put it on the radio. Like, it's not like these white record companies are just creating this music out of nowhere.
Right.
right? So it's being created by the artist. So if the artist made a conscious effort not to make it, then they wouldn't have it to put. You know what I mean? Because if you remember, at one time, you know, rap music prior to NWA, it was like all New York music. It was like a hibbity hop. It was on the radios. Public Enemy was Black Pride. Then you had like D's, LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? You had the Cool Mo D's, Curtis Blows. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And those things were like Public Enemy and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It would get played on Yo MTV. Rap was out back then and things like that or whatever. And the NWA came and changed it. And then it became more violent. But before NWA, they were pushing music that was about Black pride, Queen Latifah and Monie Love and things like that. So if that's all we give them, that's all they can play. So we're giving them the stuff that they can play.
But then I'm thinking, like, those artists, were they making as much money as these artists are making now too?
They weren't. They probably weren't. So, so the question is, Robbie Joe, we see you, Robbie Joe 305 in the house. So the question is that so these Black rappers who are making violent music that gets played on radio, and there's no other type of music genre that's violent. Country music's not violent, gets played on the radio. Rock and roll is not violent, gets played on the radio. Pop artists aren't violent, gets played on the radio. Only rap music promotes violence and black on black crime, gets played on the radio. So the question is if that's making all the money, which makes rappers want to keep doing it, are these rappers not the poster child for sellout? Because sellout means, you know what I'm saying? Sellout is basically what like Lil Wayne did with Donald Trump in the last election. His sellout.
Don't get me started on.
Don't get me started on Lil Wayne. His sellout ass.
Yeah, don't get me started on him. Because I was like, where he came from with
sellout ass with Donald Trump, his pussy ass. So that's what sellout basically means. So I wonder these rappers making all this violent music, promoting black on black crime, when there is no other music genre. No other country does not promote country artists on country artist crime. No. It doesn't. Even when you had the crazy hair rock bands of the 1980s, when you had, Motley Crue and Poison and Guns N' Roses and all of them, Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses weren't making diss songs about each other.
No, they weren't.
They were not making diss songs about each other. So we just got to make sure, you guys, that we understand. Like I said, this is part one, so we're going to get more into it. And we are all family, Muddy Clean, definitely. And we see you, Matthew, John Gotti. It's all good. And so, we have to really, make sure that we're spreading the blame equally around according to who should get it. You know what I mean? We have to definitely make sure that. And let me just say this also. That may be something that's embedded within, Black culture. Because I know, even us, right? So like when we hear, when we first heard like Tupac hit him up.
Yeah, we were like,
oh shit, that nigga going off. You know what I'm saying? When we hear diss songs from like Drake to like Meek Mill, or we hear, you know what I'm saying? We hear these things. It's like all over the internet.
Yeah.
Lately, there was like, Megan Thee Stallion's new album.
Yeah.
She's dissing everybody, dissing Tory Lanez.
Yeah,
dissing her ex-friend. She's dissing her old friend, and we all want to hear it. So that, I think, goes to also just the culture of the car crash culture, right? Like when we were driving down the highway and there's a car crash, everybody slows down. Not to help anybody associated with a car crash, everybody slows down to see who's in the car crash and to see if we can see a dead body being pulled out. That's basically why we slow down.
Yeah.
To see the car crash. We slow down real.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
it look dead though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they put it in the music. Like, Tupac, like he had real beef with Biggie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Megan got beef, but like, cause I don't know the beef yet, cause all I do know is like I'm saying with Megan, she ended up shot in the
Yeah.
feet,
Yeah.
and she was with her best friend
Yeah.
at that time, her boyfriend, and
Yeah.
it said with somebody else. So what happened to Meg? Like, what
I
really
mean,
happened to her?
maybe I mean, I don't know. Like we said, we have to explore this further in the future. I think that part of it maybe that rap is basically like poetry on top of music, and when you're talking about poetry usually discusses like the reality of what you feel. That's why poetry a lot of times is depression, right? People who are depressed, they write poetry because it's like the realness of the depth of what you feel inside. And since rap is basically like poetry on top of music, maybe that's why rappers talk about more realistic things about who they hate, who they want to kill, and things like that. Whereas we're talking about like rock music or country music, that's more like songwriting. So you're writing to sell the song more than writing to see how you feel. That's the reason why we're talking about a lot of like pop artists, country music artists, and like rock and roll artists. A lot of them have writers because it's not coming from inside of like their own soul and heart.
Right.
It's like they have writing teams. It's all about making the song for profit. Where rap is more about expression of yourself and what's true within yourself. And so maybe that's the difference between rap music and other genres of music. Maybe that's one of the differences.
Yeah, because I haven't and I listen to all kind of music, but I really haven't heard of this song from
like Shania Twain and Taylor Swift. Disney just talking about "Hey You Be When I See You." It's on. When I catch you at the Country Music Awards, you better not come.
Yeah, and then that was big too. Like in the '90s, remember after the award shows, you're heard by like real fights. Like afterwards, it was shootings.
Yeah.
And things like so. I'm like these, artists have real beef.
Yeah.
And I like you say now to get it off their chest, they put it in their music and people.
Yeah, but a lot of rappers get killed more now than they used to. It used to be more fights. Rappers get killed a lot more now, easier than they used to.
Yeah, I mean, like
these young rappers to the right and left, boy, they don't care at all.
And it's some rappers I never heard of. I'm like, who was that? And he dead? Like, oh, and they got all this rest in peace. And even my little homeboy, Lil Boosie, because remember he was like putting up his sympathy for King Von, and then he ended up shot. Like
for Mo 3. He was putting up sympathy for Mo 3.
Yeah, for Mo 3. Sorry, I know because Mo 3 got killed like a few days
killed in Dallas on the highway in broad daylight. Yeah.
But it was like a few days after King.
A few days after King Von. Yeah.
Right. So, and then Lil Boosie got shot. So I'm like, well, what did Lil Boosie do? I
know. Why don't I kill Lil Boosie, man? Lil Boosie cool with her.
You know what I'm saying? Because I like Lil Boosie. Like what happened to my homeboy? Like they shot him. And it was in the broad daylight.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, with Lil Boosie too.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. I think he got shot when he was at like an event to talk about, rest in peace of Mo 3. I think that's when he got shot when they were leaving that event or something like that.
So you said rest in peace to my homeboy, and then violence break out. Like,
come on, man. Like I said, that's something that we got to explore more. ShadeeeSlim, anything more on the topic before we go on? Like I said, this is part 1. We'll have a part 2 because we definitely got to finish that TED talk. So shout out to them. I'm Old Dog, Anti-Imperial the Chill. That's my artist name. I'm a recording artist. 1 name, 3 personalities. Old Dog, Anti-Imperial the Chill. Old Dog is about he's a gangster, he's a thug, he's a nerd, he's a dork, and things like that. Anti-Imperial is all about upliftment international political science, micro and macroeconomics, education, philosophy, psychology, sociology, physiology, and things like that. That's Anti-Imperial, and The Chill is a hopeless romantic, all about falling in love, raising a family, and things like that. This is In My Mind. In My Mind. So this is In My Mind, you guys. It's all good. In My Mind, where we talk about the things going on, current events around the globe, you know what I'm saying, of substance, current events around the globe, you know what I mean, a relation to what's going on today. This is In My Mind. You guys can get in touch with me at anti_imperial. Don't forget that underscore right there, you guys, at anti_imperial, at anti_imperial. You guys can get in touch with me, anti_imperial. That's Instagram. That's TikTok, that's Patreon, _anti_imperial. YouTube, the only difference is there's no underscore. YouTube, subscribe to YouTube, Anti-Imperial with a space in between. Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, _ YouTube, no underscore. Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, _ YouTube, no underscore. That's how that goes. ShadeeeSlim, you guys go follow ShadeeeSlim, the one and only ShadeeeSlim in the building. ShadeeeSlim, anything else before we get out of here?
I mean, I think we said it all. Like the rap music influenced people in a bigger way than we ever thought.
Yeah.
And I think we have to become a little more responsible, because the only people that's really hurting are ourselves. So
yeah. Very good. Very well put, ShadeeeSlim. Woo, that girl right there. Brains and beauty. It's all good. You guys take care. Hold on, Anti-Imperial, The Chill, ShadeeeSlim. ShadeeeSlim, I think we're going to, like, you know what I'm saying? It'll be like day 2. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about ShadeeeSlim. We're going to come out. We're going to talk about some like Grammys and stuff like that. Let's come back and talk about things like that. Yeah. All right. So, Anti-Imperial, ShadeeeSlim. You guys take care. Hold on, Anti-Imperial, The Chill, ShadeeeSlim. You guys take care. We'll be back soon. Peace. Bye.